Nobody should be calling. Hey, girl. I don't know why. Every time I go on live, I feel like I want some lotion. Sabine. Totally inspired by you, girl. Hey, Psychic Madison. We go hard. What's up? We go hard. I'm going to just give it a few minutes. Listen, disregard the drama, but this was important. Okay, guys? Just give it a few minutes. How are y'all? Good? You know what? Matter of fact, let me go back to that article. Cause I had it up. Hey, Mary. Oh, you know what? Let me put on. No, I'll put that when I post it. Just giving because you know I'm all on time and everything. I don't want to waste nobody's time, but I'm gonna just give it a minute. Since it was last minute, I'm gonna give it a minute. Brooklyn, we go hard. I like that name. Brooklyn, we go hard. Okay, so I will save this live so it can be shared and viewed. So listen, what kind of spiritual support coach would I be if I did not give y'all a heads up and give y'all an alert? Like, I know it's Monday. People probably in the bed from having such a party night last night, but I just couldn't bear thinking about somebody feeling the way people have been feeling and not say something. Give me 1 second. Let's see. Darn. Okay. So, I wanted to, well, first of all, let me just talk about who I am for a minute in case people don't know me as this gets shared around. So, a lot of y'all know that I started reading not from necessarily the perspective of, oh, I'm just going to be a reader. I actually started this from massage therapy. So in being a massage therapist, that was when I learned about the different spiritual gifts that I have, because I will be in direct contact with people's physical bodies. So it wasn't so hard for me to jump from one thing to the next, because once you get used to touching somebody's body, once you get used to doing energy work, I actually studied Reiki while I was in massage school. So I have been Reiki since 2008. And I have taken several different styles of Reiki. I've studied with several different Reiki masters. I've always tried to have good spiritual teachers around me, because the journey is literally a journey. Like, the journey is not quick. It's not an overnight nothing. So what I wanted to talk to you guys about now is, just because it's invisible doesn't mean it's not real. Now, sometimes it's hard to talk about energy work and to talk about spiritual things and to talk about what's going on, because people are so conditioned to just, clock in, clock out, do your daily, do your routine and stuff like that. If you'll notice, there has been a lot of ads around about depression, suicide, just get help, check on your strong friends. And This conversation is not a substitute for medical attention. So if you need medical attention, or if you already know you're on meds, great. This is on a spiritual level that I'm talking. So I want to say this probably has been happening for a few months. I have just experienced this in the last 4 weeks. Now, I also feel like this is one of the reasons why it's important to have good spiritual hygiene, to keep yourself clear, to keep yourself clean, to know who you are. Like that's like the number one best spiritual defense, is to know who you are. So when you know who you are, when something is wrong, you could be like, wait a minute, this ain't even me. What's happening? What's going on? But when you don't know who you are, you could easily get tossed around and flipped around and turned around. So that's the first thing. You got to know who you are. So the second thing is, it is crazy thick out in these spiritual streets. And what I mean by that is, there is a lot of heavy energy swirling around in the atmosphere. I know when you talk about spiritual stuff, it makes you talk slow. Like, because you want to make sure that they are getting it. Now, of course, these are just my opinions, but as a spiritual support specialist, I'm bringing this to you immediately because, like I said, I couldn't bear to think of somebody going through this and not realizing it. Now, we got an amazing therapist on deck. So anybody need therapy, I'm sending you to the therapist. Everybody on meds, stay on your meds. I'm not talking about that. But what I'm talking about is, there's heavy emotions going around. Hopelessness, depression. And the funny thing is that it'll hit you out of nowhere. You could be walking in the grocery store, going to get your $5 eggs, and all of a sudden you like, I want to end it all. Suddenly you don't want to be here anymore. Suddenly you're like, I gotta escape this matrix. You could be on your way to a wonderful date. You could be, it doesn't matter where you are. You could be driving in the car. I literally was driving in the car like 3 weeks ago. And I happened to be in an area that used to be Indian land. So I'm driving, and then I start to feel heavy. And I'm like, I must be feeling where the Indians was. Because I have a tendency to do that. Like, I have literally been driving and been like, oh my God, I think this happened. And then I go look it up, and I do find out something happened there. I'm just trying to give you background so that it just doesn't seem like I'm coming out of nowhere. One time I was at a car show with my dad, right? I didn't know what kind of cars it was. We literally were walking by this car, and I was like, oh, I feel like I got shot. What's happening? Right? I'm looking around. He's looking at me, my dad, like I'm crazy. What are you talking about? I was like, oh my God, I feel like I got shot in the stomach. What do? We look at the cars. It's cars that were from Chicago gang era, where they have the bullet holes in the cars from drive-bys. I literally intuitively picked that up while I was walking by the car. And I was like, oh my God, Dad, I told you. You be thinking that I'm crazy. And look, the car shot up. So that was there anyway, right? That was there anyway. But going into this new year, and it's a spiritual year, divine number 7, spiritual number 7, you have to be extremely careful, and you gotta know who you are, because what happens is, as these energies are swirling around and as they're jumping on you, you could really be taken under, and you could really not know why. And it is really crucial. I'm not talking about medical diagnosed depression. I'm talking about you minding your business, and then all of a sudden you want to cry All of a sudden you feel like you can't get out the bed. All of a sudden you feel heavy. All of a sudden you're feeling sleepy, like you just cannot get enough sleep. Like sleep for days, and then you're like, I want to go back to bed again. Do you get it? Look, I'm like, what was that? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? You got to be really, really, really careful. And I'm not talking about get you some Florida water careful, because it's beyond Florida water at this point. You know, it's beyond Florida water. Now, as if that wasn't enough. What's up, Coco Diva? If that's not enough, I'm gonna just say it one more time. I'm gonna keep saying it. We are in a okay. I'm sure if you Googled or if you looked up what other spiritual people are calling it, I'm sure we're gonna come up with a collective name of what it's called. This energetic bubble of hopelessness that's flying around. I'm sure they're going to come up with something like, oh, that was the shift that happened in this time, or that was it. Yeah. My people, they just give it to me. And the funny thing is that I have been getting reconnection. So I was like, okay, Spirit, I'll do a workshop. Reconnection workshop? Okay. Do the reconnection workshop. No problem. But again, it hit again today with 2 different clients in one day. I'm so dramatic, right? What is this? I don't know. It's just 2 clients in one day, right? Now, if anybody wants to raise their hand and join in to the live, I will bring you in if you want to talk about how you have been feeling. But make sure it's quiet. Make sure it's quiet where you are. But anyway, so I'll tell you about the different experiences with each client. Now, the first client, this is how you could recognize it. That's why I said the number one thing is you gotta know who you are. The first client has been vision boarding, has been manifesting, has been, okay, I'll bring you in a second, Sabine, has been vision boarding, manifesting, and I know her. So the way I got alerted to it was I was going to do an email read. And when I went to do the read, because with me, I don't necessarily tap into anybody's energy without permission. Like, I'm just not out here, oh, let me read so-and-so and see what's going on with them. Or let me read such and such and see what's going on with them. I don't do that. Nobody has time for that. So when somebody asks me to do a reading, I have permission. So when I go to do the reading, I hear a voice say no. So I'm like, no what? Like, very strange, right? Very like, when you're channeling spirit, when I'm channeling spirit, I can feel if it feels like angelic, if it feels like an ancestor, if it feels like your relative who died and they didn't do no work and they didn't want to go to the light and they just hanging out around you. I could feel energetically the differences in the frequencies. I have a tendency to work with the angels and higher guides because I believe the best way for you to go forward is to create the life that you want, not to just sit and wait and see what happens or be like, what's my destiny? We're in a time where you create your destiny. We have enough tools. We have enough. Anything you need, you could get online. You know what I'm saying? Anything you need, you could get online. So the best way to have the life you want for me and the way that I teach is to create it. So I'm not one who's going to just be like, oh yeah, I can tell you what spirit suggests for you, but you still have to make the choices. Like, you're not going to get away with, oh, just tell me what to do. You trying to hide. You got to make decisions. You got to participate. You got to show up. I'm going to just turn that off because it's kind of distracting with the light going on and off. So you got to show up. You got to do the work. You got to participate. You can't just be handed anything. So because I know this person, when I heard the voice say no, because the voice feels like a person. The voice don't feel like no spirit guide, no angel. It's just no. No? What you mean no? So what I do, I'm the biggest spiritual tattletale, right? I'm a spiritual tattletale because I know God. I have a personal relationship with God. I work for God. God gave me my gifts. The glory always go back to God. We working with these angels. We working with these people. But God is it's no different than somebody had the gift of singing. I cannot sing. I used to wish I had singing instead of this. But you take what you given and you work with it. So because I know this person and I heard no, I was like, no. But it felt real like this level. No. So what I do, text, excuse me, I'm trying to do your reading, but we need to talk. And so then set up a time to talk. So yeah, I'm about to do your reading and something crazy's happening. I can't get a hold of you guys. I can't get a hold of you guys at all. Where the hell is your guys? Something going on, you need to tell me that. So I'm like, literally like, where's the team? And then I'm literally like, who's in charge here? Like come to the front. Like, let me speak to your manager. And it literally was like when a group of kids is in trouble and nobody steps forward. So I'm like, what are y'all even doing? So once nobody stepped forward, I'm calling, where's your hire guide? Excuse me, hire guide. I need you to come to the front. I can't seem to get the hire guide. What is going on here? What is going on here? So then we start talking and she's telling me about her experiences. And I'm seeing like this, I don't want to call it glass, but I'm going to give you a visual, like this glass dome over her. And I can see all her dreams and all her wishes going into the glass dome. But it's like this. Like, it's not connecting to the divine. So her wishes ain't going out. It's like this dome over her. So I'm like, but I could see it. I literally said to her, it's like if somebody wrote letters to Santa Claus and they didn't get to the North Pole because it's in this like dome. So I'm like, what in the world? So, of course, like I said, I'm spiritual tattletale. I'm a tell every time. I'm like, now we got to go into prayer. Now we got to call in a new team. Now we got to do all this stuff because this is not appropriate. There is no way in this day, in this time, in this age, somebody should be out here with a guardian angel on sleep. Guardian angel just sleep. I'm calling the sleep to be nice. I'm not going to say all the profanities that I actually said when I'm calling in spirit, because I was so outraged, like, what has happened here? So if you want to talk, I'll bring you in so you could tell your side of the story. But what we have done is we've called in higher guides for her, getting everything calibrated how it should be. I was doing some more research because for me, I was like, how did this happen? Like, did somebody try to do something intentionally? Because it felt on purpose. And I thought, wow, somebody try to put your guardian angel to sleep. Yo, what is this? But I was like, I can't go into all that right now. We just got to correct the problem. Like, we got to get you back reconnected. Remember, my guides have been working with me on do the reconnection, do the reconnection, do the reconnection. So I'm like, okay, I'll do a reconnection workshop. I'm not thinking that it's like, no, B, do the reconnections now. And I'm like, oh. So as soon as I talked to her, I knew what I had to do. I knew I had to reconnect her so that things can open back up. She could start to prosper again and things could be as they should be. Now, I'll save the second part for the second person just in case they want to bring their part of the story in. So I am going to bring you in, girl, so you could tell it from your side and then we'll move on to the next part. So let's see. Oh, that's not you. Let me see. And if you don't want to, wherever. Let's see what happens.
Me trying to make sure I'm tapping the right thing. Hey.
How are you feeling?
Feeling good. I just washed my hair. I'm like getting ready for tonight to have my whole conversation with my new guides. Like, hi.
Absolutely. Like the reintroduction, because it's new.
So I don't know what the other one were doing, but they weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing.
Right. So when I just want you to elaborate more. When I was saying, it was like I could see what was in your sphere, but I didn't know how it got stuck. So when I started saying the words, and you were like,
"Yep."
What did you say? I think you said, that's what I put, even down to the Santa Claus thing. Can you elaborate on that?
I have been trying everything to get unstuck, like spiritual baths, like you named the herb, I have bathed in it, just doing everything, offerings, speaking. For the past 2 weeks, it's been me arguing with the ancestors, like, what is going on? Like, I'm here asking for these things, say, asking you shall receive. I'm pulling out Bible verses, and I'm like, and nothing is happening. And I'm like, can you speak to me? I'm sleeping with HZ music for the spirit guides to speak to you. Nobody's saying anything. And I'm like, what in the heck?
Right.
Like, and I'm like, am I not your child, God? Like, what's going on? Like, this is what's been going on for the past 2 weeks. And finally today, I was just like, and you're saying this. And I'm like, yes. I sent a letter to Santa Claus. I was like, something got to work. And I told you, I went to St. Patrick's Cathedral. I went in front of every saint in St. Patrick's Cathedral, just trying to find something to unblock me, because I just can't understand it. I'm doing all the things. I'm doing all the spiritual things. I'm staying spiritually clean. So I don't understand. Like, it was getting depressing. And when you just said about sleep, I was telling my girlfriend who's on, hi Manu, and I was telling her since last week, I can sleep all day. Like, I wake up and I'm just like, oh, do I have to? Taking naps, like, just sleep.
What's happening, right? It's almost like, how is this even possible that you're sleeping this amount and not
that I'm exerting myself?
Right. I just took a nap, and I'm gonna go take another nap from taking my nap.
I just slept for 9 hours, but I can sleep for 3 more. Like, I just could not. I'm just tired, and I don't know why. And, this morning when you were saying it, it was like, when the Oprah said that aha moment, it was like that aha moment when you were like, your guardian angel, like, he's asleep. Like, they got him, like, in a field somewhere asleep. And I was like, they sure do. Because
it was like, I never seen anything like it. It was just like, who put your whole system down? And then when we talk about being tired, that's why it's like reconnecting, calling in source, calling in that light. That's how we get our that's how we get our energy. And it's like, I could see you being depleted. I could see it going lower and lower and lower. And I'm like, this has got to stop immediately, like right now, right here. Like, and I was very angry because I was like, how dare somebody impose on somebody like that? Now, I can't say if it was like a person or just an energy, but it definitely felt deliberate, whatever happened. And so we just did what we had to do to open it back up. And then like tonight, have the conversation, like we're going to start working with this and see how everybody does, see if anything else needs to get tweaked, because it's
It
not
can't go on
okay.
like this. Yeah,
Yeah,
because you
it's
get
not
depressed.
okay to live like this.
Exactly. You start to get depressed because it's just like nothing is working.
Yep.
You know, I'm balancing my chakras, like you name it.
Yep.
Like, but it's like nothing is working.
Yep.
And after a while, it's just like, what's the point? Like,
yep. Because that was the other thing. Like, typically, if somebody needs some kind of spiritual work or whatever, I'll be like, oh, you need this. Oh, you need that. It was like, I literally heard, this ain't about no Florida water. This ain't about no, this is beyond all that. It's disconnected. But it was like, when after we got off the phone, I went and I Googled, and I was like, is this even real? You know, because it comes from spirit. You like, give me something tangible. I Googled and I was like, can people lose their guardian angel? All these articles, all this stuff about what happens if you lose a guardian angel, what happens if the guardian angel ain't around. So I was like, oh, you're just out here with no security. You're just out here, it's almost like if you had squatters that squatted, and we had to evict the squatters and get the house all
exactly
protected back up again.
That's what it feels like, something squatting on your soul, because it's just like you just can't find enlightenment. It's like, what more do I need to do?
Yeah. And then that's why when I heard no, that was out of character. I was like, what you mean no? Like, but then when you said, I've done everything, and so you know what you've done. So something was outside of you that alerted you. So you really got to be able to also, number 2, listen to your intuition. So I say, whatever made you be like, I need to get a reading, whatever made you be like, I need to do this next step, whatever made you go to the church and light the candles, keep listening to your intuition, because I feel like if you wouldn't have did that, you probably would be even heavier. Like, I feel like just your sheer effort kept you to where you were.
And it's like you keep trying, but then a part of you is just like, for what? Like, why? Like, it's like hope springs eternal. I just keep telling myself that, because I'm like, because there's really no reason why I'm still doing this stuff, because nobody answering me.
Which is like crazy. That part's crazy. So I just wanted to share an example with you guys of how things are really not a game out here these days. Like, we could make it like it's nothing, but that's why I say I'm not talking about like people who are medically diagnosed and have been dealing with this stuff. I'm talking about where if all this stuff is just coming upon you and you're like frustrated and you're like at your wit's end, it's like part of this spiritual warfare that's going on.
It is. And me and Manu talk about it all the time, because I'm hearing about so many young, like especially in the 25 age range, that are just checking out, like they're committing suicide.
Yes.
It's not that they were depressed. Like the parents will tell you, they weren't suffering from depression.
Exactly.
If they were, we would have gotten them help.
Exactly.
Like they were fine. They're texting, they're out with their girlfriends, like everything's fine, and then they're just like bloop, like all of a sudden.
Yes.
And I'm hearing too many of these. Yes.
It just comes on you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I was like, yo, I can't go another night without making a video, because I can't imagine somebody going another sleepless night feeling this if it could be prevented. So, okay. Thank you so much for chiming in. I'm going to go to the next person, because their story's like similar but different. Same day.
Thank you.
Same freaking day. All right. I think
okay.
I don't know how to hang up. Wait.
I need to watch. I'm like, am I supposed to do it?
You got an X? Can you press your X? Or maybe I'll do it. Let me see.
I don't have an X. Oh, wait. Cancel. I hit something.
I know. Like, I don't want to hit the X and the whole thing go off.
I'm showing you the shoes. No. I know. Okay, I'll come out and come back in. That's what I'll do.
We're going to learn this. Somebody needs to let us know. Because I don't be pushing buttons, because I don't be wanting to mess nothing up.
I know. I'll go out and come back in.
I'm like, moderator. Because my moderator was in there. Okay, you could go ahead.
All right. Actually,
you know how to turn somebody. Oh wait,
here
it says leave. Remove from the
leave.
Oh no, wait, no, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we won't say nothing while she's we won't say nothing while she's gone. I'm like, moderator, how you get somebody out of here? Anyway, let me see how you guys. I'll just do a quick recap while we're talking, but I think you'll be able to get the gist of it. Girl, you talking about hit the drop down. Child, please. I ain't trying to, press no buttons and in the whole. No, she logged out and came back in. Okay, good. You back. Because I'm like, child, I be done turned off the whole live. So I don't know if the other lady, Janice, is in here, if she wants to share what we were talking about. But with her, the funny thing is that when she started telling me what was going on with her, it was like I could immediately see it and I could immediately feel it. Okay, do you want to come in? Or do you want to come in, Janice? If you want to come in, I'll bring you in. Or if you want to say no, I could just tell the story. So we're talking about spiritual warfare and how things have been really, really thick out here. And you could be totally fine 1 minute, and then the next minute, something will just come upon you. Okay, so I'm going to bring her in. Oh, okay. I'll tell it. So, sorry. Now you got to turn it off because I don't know. Hey. How are you? I could, if you know how to go off, you could go off. I just don't know how to go.
It's fine.
Okay. You look beautiful though.
Thank you, girl.
Okay. So me and Janice, we've been working together, and the thing that happened is that, like I was saying before, when you know yourself, when you know something is off, and it's like hard to explain because people will think you're crazy. The one thing that you said that really like was the light bulb for me when you was like, I'm not a drama queen. So like when you minding your business and then all of a sudden stuff is happening and you're like, wait a minute, I'm not a drama queen.
Right.
That's exactly how it was when I started using my spiritual gifts, because messages would jump in while I was talking to people and I would be like, what are you doing? Why are you thinking this? Can you focus? Can you pay attention? But I recognized it as outside of myself because it wasn't my normal self. Like, I'm technically a Pisces, and Pisces, we don't really care, but we care. We the most caring when we're in that mode. But otherwise, we somewhere looking for unicorns and birds. We not tuned in. We only tuned in when we're like, oh, you need me? I'm here. But when nobody needs us, we're like, So just talk a little bit about the heaviness and the symptoms that you were having that helped us recognize, yo, this ain't you.
So first of all, I was feeling like a whole drama queen. And I'm far from a drama queen. I was a whole crybaby, and I'm not a punk at all. But I was crying, and it was uncontrollable, and I felt like I was just out here by myself. I was praying, I was asking spirit for assistance, and I felt like it was just dead air. It was just dead air. And it didn't matter what I did. I took spiritual baths. I was doing my meditation. I was doing my yoga. I was saging my house. Like, I was doing everything that I always do. Journal, practicing gratitude. Nothing was helping. I thought I was crazy. And it got so bad, I was even having, like, thoughts of, suicide. And I'm like, what the is this? That has not been my MO ever. And I was like, you know what? I know Terry is sick of my ASS, but I gotta send out an SOS because I don't know what else to do. Like, I was feeling like I was crazy. And who else was I going to talk to this? Who was I going to talk to about this? So I was like, I gotta text her. I gotta text her because this is something not right.
Absolutely. And it's almost like, it's like when I could see it, it's like it just made me feel like, again, the symptoms, the and the isolation. It's like when a serial killer tries to get you alone, or like
Oh
when
my
somebody
God.
tries to isolate you, and you like, I'm isolated. Like when they take you away from, so then you feel alone and you feel hopeless.
That's
And
right.
it's like the energy be so palpable. And it's like, but it's not real. But if you don't know that,
It feels real.
it feels real. It gives
And
you,
like the
it's
other
hitting
lady
the physical
said,
body, it's
oh
hitting
my
your
God.
emotions, it's hitting your mind. I swear. I know there's probably some other backstory to Twitch, but the suicides that have been happening, I feel like you cannot be asleep. Like
I
now is the
get it.
time where the whole woke, the woke is for your own soul.
It
When
is.
Shabine just said, what did she say? Sitting on the soul. She said something. It was like having your soul hijacked or something.
Yes.
And even the physical
Yes.
symptoms it can give you of like a panic attack or anxiety and stuff like that. The hopelessness is like palpable.
Yes. I could
So
feel it in my body. And the
yes,
way she said she was sleeping all the time, I was the
yes,
same way. I was sleeping. I would sleep, wake up, and still be exhausted.
yes.
No energy, no desire to get up, just wanted to sleep and rest.
And,
It was
and
crazy.
like I was saying, when you're disconnected, that's when it's almost like that's our life force. Like we're spirits in a body. So when we're disconnected and it's isolating us, it's literally like hijacking. It's like being kidnapped by the dark.
Yes. Yes. It was very dark. That's what it felt like. And it was
Kidnapped by the dark.
lonely. It was very lonely.
And even the amounts of time that it is, it's like when you're out of it, you're like, oh, I'm fine. When you're in it, what the fuck? And it's like it can just happen so fast. So it was like I had to warn people, and the solution is to, I'm just trying to do my part here on earth. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. You know I'm humble, but people have got to get reconnected.
Yes.
Because when your team, whatever, and that's what I don't get. Whatever's happening to the team,
I don't know.
We don't know, but we need to call in the new ones immediately. It's like when the task force got to get called. Yo, I am a tattletale. I am on the God. Yo.
It's like they went on vacation. I don't know where they went.
And the thought of other people having this and not knowing, and not, people don't have a Terry. You know what I mean?
Yes,
so like,
I did.
Oh my God. So I
don't know. I don't know what I would have done. I really don't know what I would have done. I'm serious. I'm grateful.
Red to be like,
I'm grateful.
Let me let you know what's going on, so that at least people could be aware and make their own choices.
Yes,
but
it's hard out here. Right. Thank you, girl.
So thank you for sharing again. I don't know how to get you out of here, but wait, no, I'm just kidding. Let me see.
Oh, you do know?
No, I was like, let me just push the button and see what happens. Because if it gave the button to invite you, no, it don't have an uninvite.
All right, I'll get out.
Sorry, go out, come back. I'm gonna take a nose break because you know what that is. Okay, so I haven't talked to I don't know if anybody else on the live is experiencing these symptoms, but I will say, hey, Sri Lanka viewing, like, it's not a game, like, and it can happen so quick. So if you feel like if you feel like you and your team ain't communicating, if you feel like spirit is not hearing you, if you feel disconnected, especially the isolation part, I think for me, that's the worst part of it, because I enjoy my own time. So when it came over me, I was like, what is happening? And the good thing about me is that I had a frame of reference, because I'm like, me and Spirit be having a ball. We be, you know, dancing on the ceiling. We have a ball. Like, I'm not a lonely person at all. Like, you know, I be cracking up. So when I was like, what's happening? What's going on? What's all this about? And then I talked to another person that I happened to be on the phone with her when I was driving. Remember when I was like, oh, I must be driving through some Indian land. I must be feeling what the Indians felt, right? Because it was just like this hopeless down feeling. And another friend called and was literally, I'm crying and I don't know why. And I'm like, oh, is this you? Girl, I feel this. This is terrible. It just came upon me. Oh, well, we need to see. My thing is always, when you have that connection to source and you have that connection to God, pray that ish off of you. Especially if you could pray with somebody too, somebody who, you know, prayers get off the ground, pray it off of you. Like, nobody has permission to possess your being unless you give them permission. And that's what it almost feels like it's about. Like, it wants to somehow take over. That's why I'm calling it spiritual warfare. Now, like I said, I'm sure the collective channelers, the Instagram, social media people are going to be calling it something. And I'm calling it when you need to get reconnected, because that's just what it is. I thought they were saying do a workshop, my team, when we were working on reconnecting. But then when I started working on people and I started calling in the new team, then they started to feel immediately better. They started to feel immediately lighter. I was like, okay. Because whatever it is doesn't have permission. It's just literally sliding. It's like imposing on your free will. It's like squatting, like Sabine said, squatting on your soul, like coin a new term, soul squatters. You know how we have twin flame and soulmates? Now we got soul squatters. Yeah, if you feel like your guides are on hiatus, especially if you've connected before and you know what it feels like and you just can't get that feeling back, then definitely, you know, check in. Like, don't just be out there. I actually decided to do a Zoom call on Thursday night at 8. And in a group, I'm going to do a group reconnection, like a prayer and an attunement to pull that energy back in where it's supposed to be. Just because things are more affordable in a group, because, you know, I'm spiritual for a living. Things are more affordable in a group but you can always book individual sessions as well. But don't just be out here trying to fight this by yourself. The tiredness is real too. Because also another thing is finding your spiritual tribe. So the people who will be interested in here, these are people that, like, collectively y'all can exchange DMs, talk to each other, so that nobody has to feel like they out here alone, because it sounds crazy when you're just saying this because everybody's so, you know, checked into their lives. People who ain't into spiritual stuff, but you know what it feels like to be isolated and feel depressed and feel hopeless, and suddenly you crying out of nowhere, and you know this ain't who you normally are. You know, I bet you know that. So it's like super important. Does anybody have any questions? Hey girl, hey, you missed it. I'll give you the short version. We were talking about spiritual warfare and how it's very, very tough out here, and how people have been feeling isolated and heavy and hopeless and emotional and fatigued and tired. And it's like it's almost like if you feel like you got a parasite or something that just comes upon you and you just don't feel like yourself. That's one of the first things to help you recognize what's happening. Again, I'm not talking about medically where you've been dealing with this for years and medicated. I'm talking about if you know who you are and you're like, something's wrong, but I don't know what. Follow your intuition. Like, the number one thing is know yourself. Number two, because what made them reach out to me is what actually is saving them. because now that they have a hold on it, now they have an understanding on it, they even look better. Like when you talk to somebody and they sounding like they're about to jump off a cliff, and by the time we get done, they back lighter and feeling like themselves. I mean, it is what it is. Like, so I'm going to be doing the clearing to help as many people as I can. Because a lot of people want the same, a lot of people are striving for the same thing, especially like those two people happen to be great manifestors, right? So when you're working on your manifestations and nothing's happening, nothing's getting through, like, I just think it was so funny when I said, it's like somebody wrote a letter to Santa Claus and none of the letters got to the North Pole. And she's like, I did write a letter to Santa Claus. So, you know, when somebody say they wrote a letter to Santa Claus, because they, last resort, me as a grown-ass woman, I'm writing, Santa Claus, can you help me? Because my guides and angels are MIA. Santa? Like, Santa, are you there? Like, who, like, when you're at that point, it's like, I don't care who answer. Well, you care as long as it's on the right side. But it's very, very heavy and it's very real. And you really are, you can feel it in your physical body. The fatigue, I mean, the tiredness, the not feeling like yourself. Like, that was a great idea, though. Santa, do you remember me? Like, and when I can read somebody and I'm like, you got a letter to Santa Claus in here. Right. Anybody? Yeah, so you could get the Zoom from a website. Like, and I'm gonna send out a newsletter tomorrow, but because both of these cases were so extreme on the same day, like this is Monday coming off the weekend, these two people know me for a long time, so they felt like they could just reach out. That's why I couldn't imagine people who don't have a Terry. Like, I don't know what they're doing, because it's not, I didn't get name for the problem, but when I went and I Googled after I got off the phone with the first lady, because I was like, is this even a thing? Because I hadn't heard of somebody's guardian angel being able to be hijacked. I was like, is this a thing? And when I Googled it and there were pages about being disconnected from your guardian angel, I was like, I'll be damned. But that's literally how spirit works. What happens is when you ask, the answers will come. So when I said, is this even a real thing? Let me go look it up. And I saw stuff. I was like, wow. That's why I feel like, of course, they're going to come up with some kind of term for it. When I have been meditating, like I said, I have been getting the reconnection. Like, people need to get reconnected, reconnect you back to source. That's what we're ultimately doing. And the way you know you're disconnected is because ain't nothing happening. That's how you know you're disconnected. So it's not trying to just be some gimmick, or it's not just trying to be some superficial way to do something. It's literally because you feel disconnected and we get you back connected. And it's like, even with her, even with Janice never knowing that could happen, once I tapped into the energy and it was like I could see. When I looked in at when I looked in at Sabine's energy, like, could you imagine like a huge sectional sofa, and like imagine guys just laying around, and I'm like, who's in charge here? What are y'all doing? Like, straight loafing, and nobody's saying nothing. So then it was like, who are y'all and how did y'all get here? And where is our guardian angel? Man, so bestie literally woke up crying. Yeah, and it can hit you in your emotions very hard. The hopelessness, the tears. It's really painful. It's really painful. Right. They was chilling on you. I was like, who are these? Who are these? I didn't even know I know what to call it. What happened? I was just like, what happened here? But like I said, I'm a spiritual tattletale. I know who I work for. No way. No way. No way. No way. You having your body that it belongs to you, the only way stuff gets permission a lot of times is through drugs. Only because if you do drugs and you like out of it and you leaving yourself unattended too long, stuff can try to come in that way. That's why you will find a lot of people who get belligerent or have blackouts after heavy nights of drinking and partying, and they blacked out because you went too far, you left your vessel unattended, and stuff that did not want to go to the light or could not go to the light be just waiting to get in. But that's something totally different. That's something totally different than what's happening now. What's happening now, like I said, it's just coming on people so fast. Like, I really feel like it has a lot to do with the suicides and stuff that are happening. And then plus, you got to realize that with the amount of tragedy that we've been having as a global tragedy, not just, the United States, that energy too, like it can be a heavy time or it can be a lighter time. Keeping your frequency and keeping your vibration up will help you feel better. But remember, energy is swirling around. And I will also say, in the beginning, this is another thing about me, little known information. In the beginning, when I first started my massage career, I met a lot of hippie type people from massage school. And to me, they will always be so extra with it. I'd be like, ugh, why y'all gotta be so extra with it? Y'all always I'm hanging out with Reiki people, right? We doing healing. Y'all gotta make it look so crazy. I went to a convention one time, and it's like when you looked around, everything looked crazy. If you didn't hear the conversations, there's this girl over here doing this in the air. And it's like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm doing psychic surgery. Must you make us look so crazy? Sewing the stitches. Girl, is you okay? Like, but now, man, let something go wrong. First people I'm calling is the hippies, because they be knowing what's up. Like, they be knowing what's up. It's crazy out here. So you got to be careful. You got to protect yourself. And like I said, what I'm talking about goes beyond Florida water or a spiritual bath, because when you do things and you don't still feel like you can connect back to yourself, that's when you know there's something going on. And it's as simple as calling in. Well, it's not that simple, because you know what? I'm an intercessor. Basically. Because if I say to you, oh, you could call it back in, yeah, but that's what you've been doing and it hasn't been working. It's intercessory. Like, I work for God. Like, it's just what it is. So if there are no questions, I will end the live, because I did not want to take up too much time, but I just wanted to let y'all know, if you're feeling any of this, get a session or take the Zoom, or the in-person reconnection is not until March 24th in Silver Spring, Maryland. That's the in-person. But after today, I was like, I could not wait. Like, I can't wait till that long. Like, anything could happen between now and then. So if you guys need me, you know where to find me. Please like, share, and follow. Especially with the tiredness. It's uncalled for. We know it's winter and it's hibernation, but come on. It's a bit much. So I am going to follow up with the other ladies, and we are going to swing back around and see how everything is feeling. And And then I'll give you guys an update on that. I will have another live on Wednesday night. I'm actually having a lady talk about twin flames and soulmates and spiritual church hurt. Yes, me and you are gonna follow up. And I'll give you what. Never mind. We will talk. But yeah, I just couldn't bear, and it affected sleep. So I even heard somebody in the elevator say, "Man, I didn't get no sleep last night," and I was like, "Oh," thinking to myself, "You need Reiki or you need something." But then I'm like, "Yeah, stuff is really coming upon people." So, okay. You're welcome, you guys. I will talk to you soon. Let me know if you need anything. And imagine, like I said, imagine all the people who don't got a Terry. This is why I was like, yo, let me just do the live. People can send it around. And if they got something going on, let's figure it out. Because you don't want people just checking out off of a bubble of energy that's not even theirs. Like, you know what? I am not a conspiracy type of girl, but you know when they got these bubbles floating around doing intel from China, yeah, like we don't know the chemtrails. We don't know what has gone into the atmosphere. Like literally, we don't know what we're breathing in or what's we're walking in. It could be chemical warfare. We don't even know. But reconnecting to source definitely helps, just like Reiki. All right, you guys, please share the video because, like I said, I won't want anybody just hanging out there like not knowing what to do or who to call. Like Ghostbusters. Oh, where I was going with one of the stories was now I be also wearing my spiritual protection jewelry, whereas before I used to not wear the jewelry. I didn't want to look too much like a hippie. But now, child, you better put that black tourmaline on for protection. Okay. All right, girl. Talk to you soon. All right, bye-bye.